Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the video. This episode is, I think, episode 5, and I want to do something a little more serious than my other video. And when I say serious, I'm not like serious. Something I really want to just get across to the viewers, you guys, and whoever watches this video can really relate or really get inspired from it. Maybe, hopefully. That's like the one thing that I want to come out of this video, is for somebody to feel inspired or to feel a change in their life after watching this video. So today we're going to be talking about my life story and what my life has been like up to this point right now. Growing up, I grew up in a Christian home, and like my parents and I and my family, we went to church and all that kind of stuff. And as I was growing up, I went to a public school. I never went to a Christian school or a private school. I always went to a public school with other kids that maybe didn't share the same beliefs as me. So growing up, I was constantly around other people who didn't believe in the same thing that I was meant to believe in. So as you can guess, I fell away from it. I fell away from Christianity. I fell away from God. I fell away from all that sort of stuff, like church and everything. I started hanging out with some, I wouldn't say bad kids, but not very good kids. They were very rebellious kids. They liked to get in trouble, and I liked to get in trouble. I liked to rebel. I didn't like authority figures telling me what to do, and it caused a lot of trouble in my grade 6, grade 5 years. In grade 6, I met a guy named Andrew, and he was my best friend. Like, we did everything together, and he literally lived down the road, so we hung out a lot. Andrew was my best friend, and one day I went to school, and Andrew was gone. He wasn't there. He didn't come to school, and I know at the time, grade 6, I was like, alright, maybe he's just sick today. And then I came back the next day, and he wasn't there. And then the next day, and he still wasn't. So I started to get a little worried, and I found out that Andrew had moved away. His mom packed up their house, packed up all their stuff, and just moved. I didn't get to say goodbye to Andrew, and not being able to say goodbye to my best friend was very hard on me. Going from grade 6 to grade 7 was a very tough transition for me because I had lost my best friend. So grade 7 came along, and it was a new school, it was a new opportunity to start fresh. I made new friends, and again, they were not very good friends. I mean, they weren't good kids. They were very rebellious. I kind of had a thing for that. It was just fun to mouth off to the teacher and do all sorts of bad things that don't do because it's bad. So grade 7, grade 8, they were pretty mediocre years. I made a name for myself as the class clown and the rebellious kid who liked to get in trouble. And then grade 9 came along. I transitioned to another new school. It was high school now. I started high school thinking that it would be the same as public school, the school before. In high school, all the public schools come together, and so kids from different public schools would come to high school, and they would just clash, and everybody made new friends. There started being cliques, the popular groups and the athletes, the nerds, and whatever kind of cliques there are now. I tried to make that name stick, the class clown and the rebellious kid stick, but it didn't really work out. People that I would call friends, they started to mature, and they became friends with more and different people from other schools, and I didn't really know what to do. People knew me as the class clown, and I didn't have that anymore. I didn't have that title. They didn't really care. So I didn't really know what to do. I was lost. I didn't know how to react. I didn't know what to do to get people to like me again. So I became very lonely, and I didn't have many friends in high school, but I desperately wanted to be with the cool kids. I wanted to be known in the school. grade 9 and grade 10 happen, and then grade 11 comes along. At grade 11, I wasn't doing good in school. I was never too keen on school and the work that we do. So I struggled with passing my classes. It took me to the very last second to get assignments in, even in one course, I was still handing in assignments during the exams. I passed all my courses, surprisingly and fortunately. In grade 11, I met a girl. She went to a different school though, and we hung out and we talked every day, and I got this brilliant idea. Why don't I transfer schools to her school? So I transferred to this new school for grade 12, and it was probably my best year ever for school. I had all A's in all of my courses. I even got 100% in one course, even with the exam. I even made it on the honor roll, which for me is a big deal. I've never ever made it on the honor roll before, and I always envied people who made it on the honor roll, mostly because they got free pizza. Me and this girl, we dated for 2.5 years. Around December in 2012, I believe, she broke up with me. And for you guys who have been in relationships or are in one right now, you can imagine after 2.5 years of spending every day with somebody, it's kind of hard. I really struggled. I went home and I would contemplate, like, why would she break up with me? There's got to be a reason. And I put all these thoughts in my head of why she would have done this, why, like, what I did to make her break up with me. And we talked, me and this girl, and I found out that she broke up with me because she just didn't have the feelings anymore. And add that to the list, my brain was like, how could that happen? Why would she not have feelings for me after 2.5 years? How does that happen, right? After she broke up with me, I went through a stage of depression, and all I did was come home, sit in my room in the dark, and play video games. And at one point, I had enough. I couldn't take the pain anymore. I wanted everything to just end. So, sitting alone in my room at about midnight, maybe, I had the crazy thought of ending it, committing suicide. I had contemplated it long before, and at this point in my life, I was ready to just do it. A friend of mine called me, and he knew all my struggles. He knew about the breakup and all this stuff. I would go to him to talk to. And out of nowhere, he calls me, and I burst out in tears. I tell him what I was about to do, and he calms me down, and he tells me it's going to be okay. A couple of weeks go by, and I'm still sad. I'm still depressed. I'm still lonely, and I get that thought again. I get that suicidal thought. I'm like, just end it. Just end all the pain. And I told my friend that called before, I said, this is it. I'm ending it right now. And he called me again, and I was so tempted not to pick it up, but somehow, some reason, I found myself picking it up. So I picked up the phone, and he would share such inspiring words that would stop me. Like, he would tell me it's okay, like, everything's gonna be better. And one thing that stood out to me that he said, God has a plan for you. And at the time, I wasn't a Christian. I was no way acting as a Christian, and I don't know why that stood out to me. So another couple weeks passed by, and it was about Valentine's Day. I got my ex-girlfriend roses or some kind of flower, just a little token of thanks. Thank you for being the best girlfriend for 2.5 years. I don't know, that might sound super dumb, like, why would you do that? She broke your heart, she did all this stuff. But I wanted to do that. I wanted to just be at peace. I wanted to be in good terms. So I gave her the flowers, and she basically just denied it. she said, no, I don't want them, just leave, get them out of here. And I don't know, that kind of crushed me a little bit. I just wanted to be in good terms. I just wanted to be at peace with the relationship. So I drove home after school and I was just bawling. I was crying my eyes out and I had to pull over. And as I was pulled over, my uncle called. And at the time, my uncle was a youth leader at the youth that I go to right now. My uncle was inviting me to his youth group. That was that night actually. And I told him, I was like, I'm not sure, I didn't really want to go. I wasn't in the stage where I could be around people yet, and even though that was the best thing for me, I really just didn't want to leave my room, leave my comfort zone. I ended up going to the youth night, and the head youth leader, she came out to me and she was telling me all about this youth retreat that they're going on in a couple weeks. And she gave me a form, and I was very skeptical about going. I didn't really know anybody at the youth group, so I was kind of nervous. I wasn't comfortable being there, so I filled out the form and I find myself going to the retreat. At the retreat, there was a bunch of gospel singing, a lot of Bible study type thing, and then there was this share time. There was a time where we could share problems that were in our life, and I don't know why or how, but I just started talking. I just started sharing everything that I was going through. Other than my friend I mentioned before, I had never told anybody about my suicidal thoughts, my attempts, and my depression. And I opened up to this group of people I had no idea who they were. And I cried. I opened up completely to these people. And after I was done sharing, this guy, who is now my best friend, came up to me and just gave me a big hug. And he told me that I could come and talk with him whenever and about whatever. And for me, that was such an awesome moment because I felt so much love and so much of a great community around me. That night, after I was done sharing, after we were done praying, I decided to give my life back to Christ. I remember clear as day what I said in my prayer that night. I said to Jesus, if we're gonna do this, I need you guiding me the entire way, 100%. I went from a quiet, shy, lonely, sad kid to outgoing, confident. Some people would say cocky, but I disagree and say confidence. To this guy that loved Jesus. And I started going to church, and that was the first time ever I felt so accepted by a huge group of people. I was so on fire for God that I just wanted to do anything I could to just praise and share His word with other people. After my baptism, I signed up for a Hearing God seminar that my pastor was leading. And during this seminar, I asked God, do you want me to go to Toronto and be with the homeless people? Or do you want me to go to Steinbeck Bible College? And I heard His voice clear as day. I want you at Steinbeck Bible College for now. And that night, I applied, and a couple weeks after, I got accepted into the college. I went to Bible college for 1.5 semesters. I learned that I have the capability and the gift to share the word with other people. I know religion is a very touchy topic on YouTube, and I know not many people like to hear about it or talk about it. And by no means do I mean to force religion upon anybody. That's not what I'm trying to do. I just want to share my story, and hopefully it inspires somebody. I want people to know that they're not alone. That they're not alone in their depression. That they're not alone in their suicidal thoughts. I want people to be able to open up and share what they're going through with other people, because with other people we can get through so much than what we can ever do by ourselves. Not everybody accepts religion, not everybody accepts that there's a God, and that is okay. I believe there's a God. I personally have seen His love and His mercy and His grace in my life, so I have reason to believe. All I hope is that sometime in your life that you see that love, that mercy, and that grace, that you are able to believe that there is a God out there that loves you. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for clicking the video either on Facebook or on YouTube. Thank you for the continuous support on these videos. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching.
I give it all I got to the day I die.